Oh, now it's filming. Oh, snap. Oh, okay. It's time. I have no idea what I'm doing, but yet here we are. Hello, friends, family, and anyone else watching. Thanks for showing up. I'm going to Japan in 2 months. I thought I would do a video to kind of explain some of the stuff I've been prepping for and the steps I've gone through, just some of them that have brought me to this point. I'm going to a school specifically designed to teach me Japanese. My reading is horrible. My writing is really bad. My reading's okay, I guess, but my writing is horrible. Speaking is, I can get by with speaking, I guess. Now I'm hoping to get a part-time job there, and I was hoping to transfer with the company I'm working for right now, but after months of talking to people, they were like, I have to be fluent in reading, writing, and speaking, which I'm not. This I'm going to Japan. So they said I could try to do a transfer, but I'm just deciding to wait, just kind of settle down when I go to Japan, and then hope for a job that I really love. And I might apply for that company again. I totally might apply for the company. I think it'd be really fun, but I think it'd be easier to apply there than transfer. That's kind of the perspective I have on this. However, I would love to be a tour guide, so I'm going to look into being potentially a tour guide, especially in Tokyo. So, that being said, so that's my part-time situation. I have a student visa, so I'll only be able to work like 20-something hours. It might be like 23 or something. So it won't be that much, which I'll be grateful for. Originally, I was planning on going to Japan a while ago, actually. About 2 years ago, I started really looking at how I was going to go back to Japan, because I've already been there 3 times, and I really wanted to go back. And I wanted to go back for a longer period of time, and I didn't want to teach English. That was, I think, the number one thing. I think it's fairly easy to go to teach English, but that is not what I wanted to do. So I looked at my options, and at first I was looking at this scholarship, MEXT scholarship. I don't know if that's how you say it. I would assume that's how you say it. It's MEXT scholarship. So that was my first thing, is I looked into the MEXT scholarship, and however, it was a miracle. I found out about it 2 weeks before the deadline, and the MEXT scholarship requires a lot of things. I got 4 doctor's appointments in the course of 5 days. I went to my eye doctor to get my past results. I went to my current doctor, I think twice. I had to go to another doctor to get x-rays of my lungs, because that was a requirement. I didn't know exactly why. And then I needed to get a blood test, so I went to my parents' doctor who did blood tests that I got my blood results in, I think, 3 days. And that was crazy. I got my blood results, I got the documents the day I was turning in all my paperwork. It was absolutely a miracle. So it was crazy when I found out I didn't get into the program, because it was just such a miracle of everything coming together in a very short time. Part of the scholarship was to create a thesis statement and to have different ideas for research over a thesis topic. And thankfully in college I wrote a thesis paper, so that all was probably easier for me than others, because I've already done a thesis paper. I actually had an idea for a thesis paper while in college. That was kind of like my second idea of a topic. I came up with like this whole thesis project that I would do in the 2 years there. The day it was all due, it was like the day before it was due, I had to go to the post office and do a 24-hour mail delivery to Japan's embassy, the nearest one to myself, and I got there on time, and then I was packaging all my stuff and trying to figure out, like, what do I package it in, what's the 24-hour delivery, and as we, like, go to pay, they're like, well, we've kind of closed, so I don't know if we'll get it there tomorrow. And I was like, I just drove to 2 doctor's offices today. I need This is due tomorrow, and I mean, if it failed, I was gonna drive to the nearest embassy. I was just like, are you kidding me? I'm so close. Anyways, it got there on time. It was nice to know I could do something crazy like that. So that's, I guess, I learned something about myself. So that was my first failure at going back to Japan for long term. My second failure was only a partial failure because it led into 3 times the charm of me going to Japan. So I am doing this schooling through Gogo Nihon. Nihon is Japan in Japanese. So it's Gogo Japan. And they help you connect to a bunch of Japanese language schools in Japan. There's 2 different types of Japanese schools in my mind. The way I categorize them is, one is that they help you go into a university. So they help you read and write specifically and speak, but really reading and writing so that you can go into a university in Japan. And then the second one is that they help you with conversation and being able to go into like a working environment, going directly into working in Japan. And that's what I'm doing. Some schools do both, but I think a lot of schools kind of specialize in one or the other. I found out a little bit too late that the school I was picking was way more oriented to bringing kids into university. And I was so bummed. I was going to go to Akamonkai, and I really like it, and I highly suggest it. It's a really awesome school. But right as like a big deadline, they were like, hey, just to let you know, this school is specifically for going into a university. And I was like, why? So I was supposed to go to Japan in October, but that didn't happen. But I think it's for the better. So now I get to spend the holidays with my family. I can't complain about that. I was like, I have to go back to the drawing board. I had to go look at all my notes. Thankfully, I have been organized, and my whole life is in this notebook. Isn't it cute? So my whole life right now for my trip to Japan is in this notebook. I studied every school in Tokyo and into Yokohama that they had, and I broke it down and I categorized it. I even used an Excel program to like tell me which one I rated high statistically. My dad helped me with that, and I picked Akamonkai. I finally picked a school, and it was the wrong school, so now what do? So I went back and looked at some schools. So now I'm going to Tokyo Galaxy. I know I said that they told me pretty late that the school I was going to is more oriented towards universities, but all things considered, they have been so helpful with just everything. From the beginning, when I asked for information, they sent me so much, like above and beyond what I asked. They gave me what I asked for and then what I didn't realize I needed to know. They've been really helpful. Really no complaints. I think the only difficulty now is housing. That being said, I'm currently looking for housing. Right now, I have like 2 major steps before I can go. I've already bought my plane ticket. I found out in September that like the day I start school. I already had been looking for plane tickets because what I've learned over the years is that you want to constantly be looking. You want to find a pattern of when there's cheap flights. I usually look through Google. I don't necessarily buy my ticket through Google, but Google usually really helps, and I find it the easiest way to look for flights, especially international ones. I got to the point where I was like, I just have to buy a flight. It's time. I don't want to wait any longer. The school itself said that I needed to come like less than 5 days before school started, specifically because I have to wait for my visa to show up. I found my favorite airline, and I found a really good day. My flight was cheaper than I was expecting, not as cheap as I was hoping. So, yeah, I think that's it. This is my first video. Yep, it went. It went. yeah. Well, thanks for watching. Bye. How do I turn this off? Oh.